When the whole family comes together to watch the game, nobody wants to miss a second of the action to run to the grocery store. With Instacart, you can get all your weekly groceries in as fast as an hour. Less time shopping means more game time. Let's go. Visit instacart.com to get free delivery on your first 3 orders. Offer valid for a limited time. $10 minimum per order. Additional terms apply.
Hey, Commanders fans. Headed to the game December 31st? Take Metro for just $2, then join us for some tailgating fun. We'll have live bands, games, and giveaways galore. Plus, if you switch to mobile wallet there, you'll be entered for a chance to win a special raffle. Find us at the Morgan Boulevard Station or in Lot G at FedEx Field between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. Skip the traffic, skip the parking. Take Metro to the game December 31st. Learn more at WMATA.com.
Radio you can touch.
Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
This is the Bob and Jeff Show, starring Bob Lutz.
I'm certainly not going to sit here and be subjected to the assertion that our good friend Jason Duda is a legend.
I hear you loud and clear.
Jeff Lutz.
I'm not with you. Jason Duda, Thunder, Hockey Legend. I love it. For today, anyway.
That would be terrific. That would be great, huh?
Terrific. That was terrific.
And Jason Duda. For today, anyway.
That is true.
You
like it.
Woohoo! 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
And it's going to be legendary.
Hello, everybody. It's a Friday edition, the Bob and Jeff Show. We are joined by Thunder hockey legend Jason Duda, the 3-man booth, the final show of 2023. We'll be celebrating throughout the show with...
Isn't that kind of like saying Hellman's Mayonnaise Legend? Like, yeah, I know the brand, but I don't know anybody who works there.
Any clue what that meant?
No.
Jason Duda. Turn your...
No, I don't know.
No, I don't either. I thought I kind of figured where he might be going with that, but it never went anywhere.
Where do you think I was going?
That was like starting a car and the battery dying.
I'm just saying, can you really be a legend if you work at Hellman's Mayonnaise or if you play for the Wichita Thunder?
Now you're downplaying the Wichita Thunder.
No, I'm saying it's a recognizable brand, but we're not going into like I don't know.
Well, what are you trying to say, that he's not a legend with the Thunder?
No, absolutely not. I think he definitely is.
Or that the Thunder's not worthy of having?
No, he's a legend within a small... I'm just burying myself right now.
Well, it sounds like you're just taking off on the Thunder.
No, I love the Thunder.
Well, what's your interpretation?
I haven't made it yet.
What are you drinking there, by the way?
Stuff.
Oh, really? Not even going to tell us?
It's coffee.
It's a coffee?
It's coffee.
Coffee with?
Creamery.
There you go.
That's
anyway,
good. It's a nice
regardless,
Jason Duda is a legend.
Regardless of the definition or the impact of the local hockey franchise, which I think is pretty darn good. They've been around a long time.
Oh, they're wonderful. That's what I'm saying.
And I hope Joel T. Lamerno and some of the folks down there heard that.
But you get what I'm saying, right?
No, don't get it at all.
Like,
I think it's an insult. I think it's
definitely an
like
insult.
You might be a Wichita Eagle legend, but the guy in Joliet, Illinois doesn't know you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might be a legend in your own community, in your own profession, in your own line of work.
It sounds like you've just said there are 2 legends living right here in this basement right now. 2 legends, 3 people. Is that kind of what
that I understood.
Misty's a legend.
That I understood.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
And I'll say thank you for Jason. And keep working.
I will.
Maybe someday you'll attain some kind of status.
Legendary status.
869-1240, the IHOP hotline. Tim Fitzgerald, GoPowerCat.com will join us at 2:25. I don't know if you watched the Pop Tart Bowl last night, Pop Tarts Bowl.
I did.
I got great enjoyment out of it. It was fun to watch, and I've never seen a more genius marketing ploy than I saw from Pop Tarts.
They were all over the place.
Everywhere.
Unbelievable.
Everywhere.
Just unbelievable. I put out a post on Facebook about Pop-Tarts. It just got I'm almost
Did you have any?
without words. No, we're having some this evening.
Oh, really? You're planning your evening around Pop-Tarts. Okay.
Well, we're getting groceries this evening, and
what
they've
flavor
been
did
ordered.
You go with?
The cinnamon, whatever, brown sugar, whatever they're called.
Sounds good. Toasted or?
No, I don't know yet. I'm going to rip open the box.
So that, okay.
And it was just phenomenal.
Why don't you read off our rushing and passing predictions for Avery Johnson?
Avery, they held him back last night. He was not instructed to run the football because they don't have a backup. So anything that would have knocked him out of the game would have been detrimental. He's got a ways to go.
But he still did not shy away from contact when he did run.
No, but he's going to be dynamic.
No question about it.
They just didn't turn him loose last night,
and they had Giddens,
for good reason.
And they had Giddens running, so they still had some weapons.
But the pride of Mays High School,
right,
that had to do you proud last night.
Absolutely, he played very well. He's gonna be good. He's got a cannon for an arm. He can run. He's a big kid. I'm looking forward to see what he can do. A lot of times you see some freshmen and you know if they got a chance or not. He's got a chance to be very, very good.
Superstar potential.
And I loved the analysis of Andre Ware. And I thought he was very good, very spot on, very high on Avery Johnson, which has to make Avery Johnson very proud to have Andre Ware talk about you the way he did. I just enjoyed I enjoyed everything about it.
Well, and my thing is that obviously I've asked my Avery, about him, and she's always said she didn't have nothing bad to say about him. He's a really good kid at school, and I've talked to a guy at work today who knew the family, and he said the family's great, and my wife actually knows his mother a little bit from coming into the office, says she's an absolute sweetheart. And I like that. I like the fact that everything I've heard about the kid is good. I like the fact that he's a good player, and he seems to be pretty humble.
What, are you trying to horn in on the family?
Not at all. I'm trying to give him some props.
Well,
so
there
obviously
you go.
They've done a good job with the young man.
I thought because maybe at some point the youngster, well, he might already be in for a big payday. Yeah.
He probably is. He's probably doing okay up there.
He's probably doing fine. You would have to thank your team's quarterback, who is seen as potentially one of the top quarterbacks in the country. Will we ever mention Avery Johnson as a potential Heisman Trophy winner? Jeff, I'll start with you.
He'll be a Heisman Trophy candidate by the time his career is winding up at Kansas
I thought
State.
the cynical part of you would take over on that.
No, because I think that's a proper way to put context around Avery Johnson. I believe he can reach that ceiling.
Duda, your
I would
thought?
agree. I would agree from what I've seen this year. There's no question that I agree exactly with
Could it
what
be as
Jeff
soon
said.
as next year?
I don't know if next year, but as a junior, I think give him another full year under his belt. I'm not saying he can't. He has the potential. No question about it. But
K-State has to become a little better. Not that they weren't good.
But they got to be one of the more elite teams in the country, so that would help his case.
They've had two quarterbacks in the last 20 years, I think.
Finished
And
second.
longer than that. Good grief. Last 30 years. Time gets away from me.
It does.
Because Michael Bishop was in the late 90s when he finished second in the Heisman voting. Colin Klein finished second in the Heisman voting. They've had two quarterbacks in the Bill Snyder / future era who have been in that discussion. I firmly believe Michael Bishop would have won it had he not fumbled the football in the Big 12 championship.
Who won it that year? Ricky Williams, or was that somebody?
Ricky Williams, I believe.
Well, I don't know if he would ever beat.
I believe
Ricky
Michael
Williams.
Bishop would have won it had he not fumbled the football in the Big 12 championship.
Remember how big Ricky Williams was?
I don't care how big Ricky Williams
the
was.
Saints traded their entire draft to get him.
Right. Fantastic player.
I'm just saying, that dude was his own
Yeah, he was a great
universe.
player. Michael Bishop was the best college football player in the country that year, in my opinion, except he dropped a football. Here goes Jeff.
Well,
don't you love this about him?
Well,
I want to make sure
he's
that was the
checking it
right
out.
year
I mean,
because he was not better than
you guys
Ricky
do this
Williams.
with a lot of players. You say they're great, or you say this and that, and they're not yet.
Wow.
Oh, now here we go.
Well,
Here's
you
what
agreed with him.
Oh, you've been lying low. No, I don't agree with the way he just tried to.
Well, I'm just saying.
To horn that
you guys,
into the conversation.
You enjoy doing that.
I don't like
you know.
No, I don't like
Brock
the way
Purdy. You guys were, he's great. I said he's having a great year. He's not a great player. And he goes out and throws 4 picks.
I don't like the way
you know Tom Brady had a game with 4 interceptions. You know Brett Favre did.
I don't like the
Aaron
way
Rodgers
you just
did.
introduced this.
It's just ugly
Into the discussion.
I just don't like it.
It's kind of a.
I just feel good about myself. That's all.
But
'Cause
why?
I was right.
Why
in that situation?
How are you right?
Let's go back to the K-State stuff.
No,
I just want to throw that out there.
I'm going to ask how you're right because you said we can't determine it off 20 games.
I said earlier in the week that I agreed with him.
And you were wrong, too.
But I'm not giving up on Brock Purdy becoming an elite quarterback. I think the ingredients are there. He just picked a bad stage to play poorly on. Now, the way Duda introduced this today, sickening. Weasley. And you know it.
Absolutely, I do. Because this is the reaction I was looking for.
Who
did I learn that from, Bob?
Well, I don't know who you.
Oh, who did I learn
I
it
have
from?
no idea who you learned it from.
Do you know Jeff? Do you know who I learned that from?
Yes, I know who you learned it from.
From Jeff?
Oh, God. No, from you.
Oh, really?
Oh, you love to get a reaction. Isn't that what you do a lot of times? And you say that.
Even if you make yourself look dumb, you still want a reaction.
That's the reaction I was looking for.
Are you talking about
me?
me?
I'm talking about both of you.
Well, what about you?
Your goal is the
Nobody
reaction.
in the history of radio. Again, I'm making an outlandish statement. Nobody in the history of radio has said more dumb things than you.
You can't even name one.
I can't remember them all. It's like
because they all come true.
When you become flooded.
No, it's because they all come true. That's why you can't name any. Because everything I say is correct.
Oh my goodness!
And this is why I did it.
Here's what is correct.
What's
and
correct?
This pains me to say.
Oh, say it anyway.
Duda continues his hot streak on picks. It's now getting a little weird because he's not a threat yet, but he's
lurking.
Now I got to keep an eye on him.
Uh-oh.
He was 6-3 last week for 33 points. I was 2-7 for 15. Jeff 4-5 for 24. Max 5-4 for 26. It is very tight now. I lead with 360. Jeff at 344. Max at 342, and Duda at 318.
Uh-oh.
Just kind of, shut up, Duda.
Yeah, it's kind of getting there.
Kind of inching his way up.
Didn't I say that? Didn't I say that's kind of how it was
You'll have
work
a bad
this
week.
year?
Although we did both pick K-State. However, there's a 5-point gain already for yours truly.
Oh, good
because
for
you. Only
you.
picked it for one.
Good for you.
Max and I picked pretty heavy confidence points.
I only picked it for one?
That's correct.
Oh, what a mistake.
I picked NC State for one, right?
That's correct.
So I didn't lose a whole lot.
I picked K-State for 6. Max picked K-State for 7. That, to me, I thought that was a fairly easy one. But
well,
hey.
NC State didn't do a whole lot.
They had to score late or else it wouldn't have been.
I thought it was an easy one.
Well, it happened, so it doesn't matter how it happened.
It doesn't matter. We can't go back and look at who scored late to cover. No. All I know is
can't do it.
And it wasn't that late.
I'm reaping the reward for the pick of Kansas State.
Such a good player.
Well, yeah.
I just said it. I didn't say
I am a good player.
I didn't say great. I said good player. I just wanted
decent.
I wanted to throw that out there.
Oh, brother. Who's our guest for 5 questions today?
Anna Sophia Henry.
And how'd you find her, and who is she?
She's my friend's sister-in-law.
Who's
she's
your friend?
David Michael Hahn.
Does your world revolve around David Michael Hahn?
Kinda, yeah, I hope so.
Tell me why.
In a lot of ways.
Have you ever heard a guy talk about a guy that much?
No.
He's just such a solid human being, just a good individual. She is out of Wichita, but she's now in England. If you go to her Spotify, she's got a song that she did with 7 million listens. She got 404,000 monthly listeners. So this person is a fairly big deal, even though, like, she's a Thunder legend, basically. She's somebody. It just hasn't gotten around to us yet.
You know what? I'm tired of you doing that.
Why?
Why? I mean, this young man, Jason Duda, who did things you could only dream of.
Absolutely.
He is to hockey. Your comparison as a baseball player to him as a hockey player
absolutely
is not even in the same ballpark.
No question about it.
So why would you do that?
It's just having a little fun on a Friday, last show of the year. We might as well get it all out now. Yeah. And have a fresh start when we come back next week.
Because I'm sure everything will change.
Yeah, well, it'll be.
Do we want to turn over a new leaf?
How we should try it one day, just to be really nice to each other.
I've tried it. Jeff hates it.
Yeah,
there's no way the three of us could do it for 2 hours.
Well, Jason, you were a very excellent hockey
See, you
player.
changed your voice. That's what the problem is. You can't just say, "Hey, Jason, man, good job today."
You did such a great job at the
you're doing such a
for over
job.
40 years.
Thank you.
That was absolutely fantastic.
Oh, your family couldn't mean more to me.
That is so. I'm tired already.
I love soccer.
It's the worst.
Well, that was nice. Christmas.
Couldn't even get through a minute, could we?
So close.
I don't think we're made that way.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think in the locker room after
you wouldn't
a
have made
Thunder
it.
game.
No,
you were expressing niceties to your teammates.
Not very often. Smart-ass remarks.
Yeah. Even
Hockey.
after a nice win.
Oh, always. Always.
Oh, I meant to send you a picture yesterday. Now I'm going to.
I got after the K-State game last night, I got caught up in the Celtics and Pistons. They were playing on the NBA network, and Detroit had a 21-point lead in that game against the team that hadn't lost at home and has the best record in the NBA. Detroit, of course, 27-game losing streak. Man, I was so captivated. And, of course, Detroit fell short.
That lead was evaporated in 7 or 8 minutes.
But then they built it. They got a 4 to 6 point lead, fairly steady, but they couldn't pull away. And I'm going to tell you right now, the Celtics made 2 tremendous additions to their team in Holiday and Porzingis.
No kidding. They're the best team in basketball.
Porzingis is a phenomenal player.
I understand. And so is Holiday, by the way.
Nobody can beat them. And who's the guy they brought, their point guard now?
Derek White.
My goodness.
Well, Holiday's their point, but they kind of both
Derek White's
do.
got the ball all the time.
Yeah, they're kind of both.
Holiday was playing off the ball.
Jaylen Brown's ridiculous. Tatum's ridiculous. It's just that team. It's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
They're good.
It's ridiculous.
And I did enjoy watching that game.
That was on NBA TV.
That's what I just said. NBA TV.
You didn't. The Pacers played last night. Also,
don't care. You've turned me off of the Pacers.
Really?
Yeah, because you're just never. It's just never ending.
Why? They won.
I don't know.
The Chicago Bulls.
I just don't like the fact that you've become their quote-unquote number one fan. You want to talk about
I've
being
never
a
said
legend. Nobody around here can relate to the Pacers.
Why? It's a basketball state. That's it. Their state revolves around the sport of basketball. That's their number one sport. They care deeply about it. Their college team means a lot to them. I think Indiana is a perfect team for Kansans to root for.
I'll guarantee you there's not another Pacers fan in Wichita.
There probably isn't, but why not? We don't have a whole lot of NBA diehards. We have some. Alan Gales, our friend Alan Gales.
Yeah,
he's a Lakers fan.
I like the NBA fine. I'm not a diehard. I like it fine. That's kind of where I am.
It's pretty fun.
I don't know. That game last night was fun because I was pulling for the Detroit Pistons.
Well, they play Toronto next. I believe that's at home. So that might be one they can get, but after that, it's tough.
All right, time for a break. Jason Duda with us, a three-man booth. Tim Fitzgerald will join us next. GoPowerCat.com. We have our final football conversation regarding the 2023 Kansas State Wildcats with Fitz. He'll join us in a moment.
When the whole family comes together to watch the game, nobody wants to miss a second of the action to run to the grocery store. With Instacart, you can get all your weekly groceries in as fast as an hour. Less time shopping means more game time. Let's go. Visit instacart.com to get free delivery on your first 3 orders. Offer valid for a limited time. $10 minimum per order. Additional terms apply.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
The Bob and Jeff Show, KFH. Jason Duda joining us today. Led Zeppelin, All of My Love. All in all, the musical theme of the week. I believe we're chasing after Tim Fitzgerald. Or is he with us?
Not quite, but he called, so we're good.
Oh, okay. Well, here is Tim Fitzgerald, GoPowerCat.com publisher for a long time journalist. Fitz, welcome. How are you?
I am wonderful. How is the Lutz gang?
Well, we're doing okay. We got Thunder hockey legend Jason Duda with us
Big
today.
deal.
I know that embarrasses him.
Nice.
So we're going to hit you with the...
Yeah, they're still annoying as ever, so they're fine.
So K-State comes through in the Pop Tarts Bowl. Have you ever seen a marketing scheme turn out so brilliantly that we saw last night with Pop Tarts?
I hate bowls named after advertisers, but this one was a home run. This was brilliant. They put so much thought into this. I laughed so hard when that mascot lowered into the toaster with this sign, "Dreams do come true." I mean, they could have just lowered him down, but someone said, "No, what if he holds the sign?" They thought of everything here, and then out spits the cooked Pop-Tart for them to eat. The edible mascot wasn't quite what I thought it was going to be, but they pulled all this off. It was incredible.
So I'm going to let Jason ask about his Mays guy, Avery Johnson. I wanted to know, beyond Avery Johnson, who did you see last night look like they became a potentially big part of Kansas State's future?
Well, I'm really encouraged about a number of guys. First of all, DJ Giddens just seems to get better and better, because that was one of the best defenses in the country. Now, granted, they were missing their top player on that defensive side of the ball, but without Peyton Wilson, they still had good guys out there, and he just ran right through the middle of them. I was really impressed with him. Chase Brown just continues to get better and better as another true freshman. On that defensive side, look, they weren't perfect, but they held an offense that's put up some points this year to 19, and that hit on VJ Payne delivered on the 2-point conversion. A true sophomore was impactful of the game. I think it just changed the entire momentum, and then once K-State scored, stopping them, it now turned it into a 2-score game. So I thought he was great. There were so many guys that stood out, and a lot of them were Kansas kids, and that says an awful lot. There were just so many good players on the field for K-State. It was impressive.
And, of course, as Jeff said, obviously my kids go to Mays, so watched Avery Johnson the last couple of years in high school. What's his ceiling? We passed around the horn here whether we thought that he would be in the Heisman conversation at some point in his career. We all said yes. What are your thoughts, and what's the outlook, and what do people say up there about Avery Johnson?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, the obvious nature of his game, that ceiling that is hard for even football people to measure. The absurdity of saying this true freshman is going to be in the Heisman running when we're just now seeing him. But then when I hear outsiders talk about Avery, people that aren't connected to the program, and they watch a little bit of him, and they're like, oh, this kid's special. And what makes Avery special isn't just those athletic traits that he has and the amount of work he's put in to become a really good passer, and the speed he maintains, the conditioning he stays in, he goes about his business. What really makes him amazing is he's a true freshman able to lead a college football team. And not just because he's the quarterback, but because guys in that locker room, often guys that are like 4 or 5 years older than the kid, believe in him because he's so calm, so intelligent. He's just an adult in any room in which he walks in, and one of the more mature people. And that's what really impresses me about Avery.
Tim Fitzgerald with us from GoPowerCat.com, and they held him back last night. They didn't want him running a whole lot because they don't have their backup quarterback situation's a little bit unclear. So he threw a lot of balls away, which affected his line on plays that I think he would have run had he had his druthers. So that element of his game really didn't come through other than on the touchdown run last night.
No, they did. They were cautious with him for exactly the reason you said. I mean, Jacob Knuth was available to be a backup, but that kid's been running the scout team all year. As originally he had to sit out, and then they were able to give him a scholarship, and he could play in the bowl game. But he didn't know the offense that well. He'd been in, the scout team prepares with the other team's offense, so he just wasn't up to speed. They really needed to keep him healthy, and they did hold him back quite a bit. And you're right. There were some scrambles there where he tucks the ball and runs in a different situation, but he was so selective in how he passed, and he threw away some balls where he could have tucked it downfield and maybe got a big reception, but he also might have had an interception. You look at what happened to the true freshman quarterback for Oklahoma. He just melted down with interceptions. But K-State was very careful to not put him in situations where he was going to throw the ball into peril that often. And then when he rolled out, he knew exactly, okay, this is second down. We can pick it up on third, or this drive ain't working. It's third down. Let's get out of this as a punt. And I'm telling you what, the maturity of a quarterback to make the decision, drive failed, we're going to punt in a split second of throwing the ball away is a mature, tough decision for a quarterback. And he did it last night. That was a very impressive part of his game.
So we argued a lot, actually, about KU earlier this week and how they might be seen going into next season. Their season ended with a guy making his last start. K-State season ended with a guy making his first start. Obviously, KU has Jalen Daniels, if healthy. Who do you think is in a better position? Both 9-win teams. But who do you think, and I know there's a lot to unravel still, who's in a better position going into next year?
Well, if Daniels can stay healthy, KU's in a really good position. But now it comes down to how do you, plug your holes and fix them. And, as I heard someone say last night, now like being in an NFL program, every year you're kind of reinventing your roster with the transfer portal, whether you're putting guys in or getting guys out. And it changes things dramatically. But K-State returns a lot of nice pieces. I saw someone tweet that, next year's Big 12 title game will be West Virginia and Arizona. And I'm like, well, 2 Kansas schools will have something to say about that. And there's other good schools, including Utah and, some other in this conference. I think Iowa State might be pretty good. This conference is going to be an absolute blast next year and a bloodbath week to week. It's what Big 12 football has been, and it's just only going to get more that way with the new additions.
I couldn't agree more. It's going to be so interesting to see how this all shakes out, because when the move of Oklahoma and Texas was announced, people presumed that would kind of be the end of the power days of Big 12 football. But here's Arizona making a push. It looks to me like K-State, and I'm just saying it, I think KU is making a strong push. I think the K-State KU football thing is going to be dynamic for a while.
I agree. Now, getting that next quarterback after Jalen Daniels, that's the thing is everyone gets that quarterback. K-State had Michael Bishop, and along came Jonathan Beasley to kind of carry it on, and it ended up with Al Roberson. And he carried it on until they kind of ran out of guys. And So you just got to perpetuate that dynamic quarterback room and continue to build it. And I think K-State's in a really good situation because they got Avery for 2-3 more years, and this Blake Barnett kid they signed out of Colorado is the same type of player, maybe more big and physical, but he's going to slide right in when they need him. So it's going to be fun for a long time in this rivalry.
So I want to just switch to basketball real quick. I can't say I've paid a ton of attention to college basketball outside of Wichita State, but I did see that K-State in Joe Lunardi's latest bracketology, I think he had them as last team in or somewhere in that range. Is that generally where you think K-State would be hanging out most of the year? Do you think they can improve their lot, or is that just kind of what they are, perhaps?
Yeah, I think that might be a little optimistic based on how the team's played as of late. But they get back Wes Glover, who injured himself in the exhibition game, so he hasn't played a regular season game yet. And he's going to give them a little bit more speed at the guard position, a little more explosion there in terms of ball handling and breaking down defenses. So he'll be back for Tuesday's game against Chicago State. I'm intrigued to see where he's at. I don't expect him to be that sharp coming off a knee injury in the middle of the season, but he could be a valuable addition. But again, Big 12 basketball, I mean, we talk about football, but basketball is a bloodbath at the highest levels. I mean, you got teams all over this conference already, let alone next year with the addition of Arizona, that can win a national title, that can be Final Four quality. So if you come out of that with a 500 record in league play, you're a pretty damn good team. And I think that's what K-State's hoping to do this year, because the loss of Naquan Tomlin just simply is irreplaceable.
Open with UCF, Central Florida, a week from tomorrow. Then they have West Virginia and Texas Tech road games. I suppose you'd look at those as all three being winnable games for the Cats, so we'll see. Fitz, it was fun to watch K-State football last night. They end the season with a win over North Carolina State. And 2024, as we've talked about here, is going to be about as interesting as you could possibly imagine. Will K-State and KU both be ranked in the top 25 preseason poll prediction?
I think so. That's a great point. And here's another interesting point. You know, when KU got really good under Coach Mangino, K-State wasn't very good under Ron Prince. So having both of these programs rising up at the same time and, you know, going to be at the top of this conference, that's kind of unheard of in the history of these two programs. They were either both bad or one was good and the other was bad. I don't know that there's been many times in history, maybe 95, when both teams were pretty good, and next year is going to be one of them, and this year was certainly one of them.
Always appreciate you. Thanks for everything, and have a very happy new year, and we'll talk to you in 2024.
Same to you, boys. Great to hear from you.
Thanks.
Tim Fitzgerald, publisher of GoPowerCat.com. Would love talking K-State with him, and he'll be with us soon, I'm sure. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back and talk some NFL because we got Duda here.
Mr.
Why not?
NFL.
Why wouldn't we talk NFL?
Why not?
Do we have Joanna today? I forgot in our rundown if you mentioned her.
I need to reach out to Joanna for sure. Yeah, she'll join us at 3:25, hopefully.
Yeah, all we got to do is call her.
I'm running on empty, basically. A lot on my mind.
Like
what? As you can imagine.
Want to tell us some of it?
Oh, no, I don't ever get into that. But
I forgot. I'm never going to ask you that again.
You sound desperate.
Yeah, I sure do.
We will be off over the weekend and on Monday to celebrate New Year's. Jeff and Duda will be here on Tuesday to bring you into the new year.
Oh, really?
How about
Where are you going to be?
Yeah, where are you going to be?
I'm not going to be here.
Why?
He's got too much stuff going on.
Well, again, I don't.
Important.
These are things I don't divulge. And
you don't think we're busy?
Well, you know, you both agreed to do the show Tuesday, and that's where we are.
I didn't. I mean, I agreed to because I'm a professional and my name is on the marquee.
So then you should be here
in
anyway.
Smaller letters.
I'm like Steely Dan with the Eagles. It's still pretty big.
Yeah, you're the Dan part.
I don't understand what that means.
Well, you just leave it to me. I get it. That's all that matters.
See, here we go. That's all that matters.
If I understand it.
Duda and I will probably not need you anymore after Tuesday's show.
What?
Really?
Yeah, I think we'll do such a good job. We'll kind of revolutionize the show. Tune in for that on Tuesday.
You know what? If Tony Dusing, our program director, is listening and agrees that the Tuesday show has taken the Bob and Jeff show to new heights, then I will listen to that, and I will gladly step away.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Do I get a say in any of this?
What's your say?
Well, who said he's just talking, throwing me in there, and lumping me in there.
Doesn't have to be you.
Oh, okay. That's fine. All I will say is that Tuesday will be the best show so far in 2024.
Undoubtedly.
Best show of the year.
All right. We're going to talk some NFL, and the way we've kind of deemed to do it is to go around the round table
and make fun of each other
and talk about what you deem to be a big story in the NFL during the 2023 season. It can be one that we've already gone through. It can be one that we're going through. It can be one that you perceive happening. Whatever it might be, we'll start with Jason Duda, our resident.
Let me go. I'll go.
All right, we'll start with Jeff Lutz.
Because this one, I don't regret letting go of the Cleveland Browns because of some of the personnel decisions that they made. But if that person was not on the roster and they just had Joe Flacco coming in and doing this, I'd be right with the Browns. Joe Flacco is probably the biggest story of the entire year, and he's only been doing it for 5 weeks.
Well, it's caught everyone off guard. You know, you think they're signing Joe Flacco?
Like, I never knew him.
What home is he in?
When they called him, he was picking his kids up from school.
And here he is with incredible talent still.
Was he ever this gunslinger? What did I miss? I know with Baltimore he kind of had to be a game manager, but now he's like Brett Favre out there. He's just throwing it. Doesn't really always know where it's going, but he's throwing it hard.
Oh, he's a great story.
Not afraid to make mistakes.
So that's why you wanted to start, because you wanted to get Joe Flacco, which I think all of us
I wanted to relate it to my personal endeavors in the NFL.
Your personal endeavors?
Yeah, I used to be a Browns fan.
Well, we know. You just
jump
all over the place.
You're done with them.
Basically, for now, yes.
Oh, for now. It's got to be great just to jump back.
That guy won't always be on the roster. He's not bigger than the Cleveland Browns, and he's not bigger than Cleveland Browns fandom. So, yeah, at some point.
He's talking about Deshaun Watson. Duda, what's one of your big – well, I'm telling our listeners.
Oh.
Remember, we do have listeners. I'm not just talking to the two of you.
Oh, I thought we just –
Unlike the two of you, I recognize that there's an audience.
I thought this was live to tape. I don't even know what that means, but people say it. Anyway, Jason, go.
Okay. My big thing was before the season started, we're talking about how good the AFC was going to be. Buffalo, Kansas City, Cincinnati. Baltimore was kind of there, but we didn't really talk about it. And the NFC was Philly maybe. And if you look down the AFC, NFC, other than Baltimore right now, I'd probably the top four teams, the other three are in the NFC. Philly, Detroit, and San Francisco.
What about Dallas?
You got Dallas in there too, and it'd probably be the top five. Miami, possibly, but the fact that Cincinnati, they're probably not going to make the
Buffalo?
playoffs. Yes.
Really?
I think so.
Huh.
Buffalo will knock them out if they play.
Oh.
In the Super Bowl? Okay, that might. Then we wouldn't really have an argument.
No, there wouldn't be. But that's where I'm at. I'm surprised the NFC
You picked
has
Dallas
as many
for 5
strong.
this week against Detroit.
At home.
Well, they have 7-0 at home this year.
I
They played great
question
at
how
home.
much you truly believe in Detroit, but that made for a good.
Yeah, I'm not sure Detroit's in the top 4
That made for
teams.
a good storyline, and we appreciate it.
Well, if you want to look, I mean, they're tied for second with the best record in the.
They are
in all of the NFL.
You are what your record is, right, Billy?
They seem. What?
Parcells, he said that. Go ahead. What do you got?
Quit trying to be cute.
I am cute. I don't know. It's,
you know you're not.
It's a blessing
Come on
and
this show.
a blessing and a curse.
And speak to the people.
Okay.
Don't give them some 40-year-old Bill Parcells line.
Well, until I said Billy, you didn't even pay attention. So it must have done its job.
My storyline is going to be the Chiefs because they are a head scratcher. and nobody can figure out what's going on. You got all kinds of theories, from the sublime to the ridiculous. It looks like, the eye test looks like, Patrick Mahomes is not the Patrick Mahomes he used to be. But can that possibly be? He's still in his prime. He's a young man. Is it the fact that his receiving core is so bad? It's not much different than it was last year when they won a Super Bowl. Is it the defense? Of course not. Their defense has been upgraded. It's one of the best in the league. Is it the fact they don't have a running game? Pacheco's not a bad running back.
Travis Kelce is started the decline finally. He's going to end up
he's
with
still having a good year.
Having a good year.
Not a great one, but a good one.
Yeah. So when he takes a step back,
if you throw in the catches from the other tight ends, it's very hard for me to figure out why the Chiefs, especially their offense, has been this nondescript for so long. I don't get it. And that's why I picked them. Again, they're going to cost me these picks.
Probably. Why?
And I'll never forgive them for that.
You really think they could win by 8 against Cincinnati?
I just said I picked them.
I know, but do you really believe it?
I don't know what I believe. I've spent the last 3 minutes talking about how difficult it is to know anything about the Chiefs.
Exactly. So why give them that much rope?
Because I don't believe in Cincinnati.
I believe in Cincinnati more than I believe in the Chiefs, I think. Even with Jake Browning at
Why'd you only put 3 on it then?
Well, that's how I felt about it.
Duda at least put 7.
That's right.
Duda, why'd you put 7 on it?
Because the Chiefs can't score.
What's your next storyline?
I got to have another one?
Yeah, we got to have 2 each.
Do you remember that, Duda, being part of the bargain?
I don't know. I'll go.
Yeah, good.
I'll go.
That's a professional. No,
I got this.
You're done. You whine too much.
Duda's. He named every team. Hey, we got Buffalo, Miami, Baltimore, Kansas City,
ahead.
Detroit, Denver, Dallas.
Actually, I named 4.
No, and then you went to the NFC. And
to me, the next storyline is Russell Wilson. And whatever the hell's going on in Denver with Sean Payton, I can't stand Sean Payton.
Thank you.
And
Did I not say that at the beginning of the year, dudes?
You know, I would almost welcome Russell Wilson in Las Vegas. There's talk that he's going to go to Minnesota. If the Raiders are willing to take a flyer on Russell Wilson, wouldn't that be interesting?
That's just kicking the can down the road to me. You need a quarterback solution.
Well, in the meantime, bring Russell Wilson in.
But what's he really going to lead you to?
The promised land.
No, he's not.
Doubtful.
No way. Plus, he's going to cost you like $40-some million.
That's not my money.
No, it's not. But I don't think something's going on with Russ. I don't know if it's behind the scenes
I think it's
or
Sean
what it
Payton.
is.
Something's going on with Sean Payton.
Well, he was having issues last year as well, right?
Yeah, but last year was because no one was running the asylum. This year is because an insane guy is running the asylum, right? I mean, he's kind of dealt with both extremes. He needs just some balance in his life.
What's your next storyline?
The greatness of Brock Purdy. I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson. You know, a lot of people are talking about how he could have just been had. I mean, you could have at least tried to sign him to a contract. The Ravens could have matched it or given up a couple first-round picks or gotten a couple first-round picks to let him go. But it didn't work out that way. Can you imagine some teams with Lamar Jackson who just said, nah, we're good? The Falcons? They wanted Desmond Ritter?
There were other factors there.
But
money and...
Not really.
Yeah, really.
Do you want to be a good franchise or do you want to be a loser? Again, loser's mentality is saying, the money's too much. The money's too much, and the draft pick.
Did I make a decent point there?
You made a decent point
there.
No,
he didn't. It's a loser's mentality.
Guardians fan.
Oh, that's the point you think he made?
Well, that is a bit of a point when you brought up the money side of things.
For you to talk about losers.
Mentality.
Okay, I'll throw that in there.
Guardians don't have a loser's mentality.
Why do they lose?
Our owner does. They don't lose that much. They've got the third best record of the century. They've been fine. So
I'm just supposed to trust you on that.
Their owner has a loser's
third best record.
It might not be of the century, but it's 10 years or.
And what's that got them?
I'm just saying they're not losers.
What have you gotten from them?
A lot. Plenty. The journey.
Nothing but heartache.
No, the journey is not heartache. The end of the journey might be heartache, but the steps are usually not.
What's your next and final storyline of the 2023 NFL season, Jason Duda?
C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans. Tied for the division lead. Everybody didn't think they were going to be there. Yeah, but he's going to start this week.
Yeah, but can they? Yeah.
Goes number 2 because everyone was all about Bryce Young. And the kid's been fantastic.
Well,
Probably going to be the rookie of the year.
I was highly optimistic about the Texans. And that's fading some. And that irks me because...
Why would it be fading?
Because they're fading. They're not playing as well.
Well, because they got
and even when
tons
Stroud
of
was playing, he wasn't. He was fading a little bit. We'll see. I'm not saying it's not a story.
Hey, who'd expected them to be in the hunt at 8-7 before the season started?
Nobody.
Their over under for wins was 5.5.
Nobody.
And they got a chance to win the division. So,
and they're probably only getting better.
Yeah, I like it. I'm with you.
So there you go. That's mine.
There you go.
What was your second one?
I gave my second.
What was it?
The Chiefs and the Chiefs.
I don't think
you haven't done the second one.
No, the Chiefs were my
first one.
Second one.
Okay, who was your first one? Oh, you said Russell Wilson.
Yeah, well, Russell. I said that was my third one.
Russell Wilson doesn't count.
That was my third one.
No, that was your second. You don't get 2 Chiefs takes.
I had a million of them.
How about Baker Mayfield?
No, he's not a storyline. Come on. This is where you're going to drag this now into the mud.
Oh, I'm going to.
This great idea I had.
He's in the playoffs right now.
And we're going to start throwing out Baker Mayfield.
Oh, he's been pretty good.
Jordan Love.
Just name every quarterback. What a travesty. All right.
Will Levis.
What about Shaq Leonard? What if he'd have been playing for Indy this year?
Terrible.
They'd probably be 12-3.
Couldn't care less about Shaq.
He was
Leonard.
playing for Indy and got cut.
He's been hurt and cut, and he's barely. I don't even know if he's played this year.
All right, we'll take a break as that segment, kind of like C.J. Stroud, starts to disintegrate a little bit. We got an hour left. Joanna Chadwick, we hope, will join us from Vipe Magazine as we talk some high school basketball during the high school basketball break. But we're going to pick that up a week from today, more high school basketball. Stay with us, Bob, Jeff, Duda on a Friday.
Let's face it, most people aren't making massive turkey feasts on the regular. And after 364 days of not thinking about it, it can be hard to get that bird just right. That's where Instacart, the holiday rescue app, comes in. From getting all the ingredients to prep a full seasonal spread to getting last-minute swaps in a turkey emergency, Instacart has everything a holiday host needs to save face and save dinner. And right now, if you download Instacart, you'll get free delivery on your first 3 orders and delivery in as fast as 1 hour. Offer valid for a limited time. $10 minimum per order. Additional terms apply.